you stay by me now? Wait, wait, wait a moment while I clean my hands, yeah. Baby, where are you going? Why don't you stay by me now? Wait, wait, wait a moment while I clean my hands, yeah. Baby, where are you going? Why don't you stand by me now? Wait, wait, wait a moment while I clean my hands up. I've been moving all around the world, looking for something that's behind your door. You were lying on your bedroom floor. I was on my way, I was on my way. I'm coming home. 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 I'm coming home.
I'm so excited to be back. I really am. How's everybody doing? Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments, and I'm your host. I'm back, fresh, revitalized from 10 days off, right? And boy, have I got a lot to talk to you about. How are you? How have you guys been? So a lot of you were tricked last week, you know. People were texting me like, how can you be in the Ozarks when I'm watching you live at home? Reruns. Don't you love them? I did watch it one day, and it was strange because I was watching myself and I forgot that it was a rerun. I was about to type something into myself. But anyway, I'm so glad to be back. I mean that with all my heart. And thank you all for being patient and waiting for me to come back. And we've got a great bunch of shows for you this week. Tomorrow, Emmy Award-winning news anchor Rob Johnson will be here with us. He's got a lot to talk about. What an interesting fellow. You're going to love him. Plus, he's my first Emmy Award winner. He'll be here tomorrow. Conchita Jones. She's another up-and-coming star as far as entrepreneurial. She has these calendars of women over 50 that are just fantastic. Dr. Janice Hooker-Fortman, a good friend of mine and a coachee, is featured in that calendar. I think she was actually June or July's woman. And so Conchita Jones is going to be here tomorrow, not tomorrow, Wednesday. Then I have Jeff Kroll. This is the guy on Thursday. Jeff Kroll is coming. And guess what he does? Jeff Kroll has a business where he guarantees to find your soulmate for you in 120 days or less. Where's my bell? Okay, let me put everything. I got up at 5:15 this morning because I came home a few days early from the Ozarks so I could get some things done around the house. How, you know, it's just a part of vacation. And I loved those things. So it wasn't like, oh, drudgery. I did some. I'm staining our deck because you have to wait 2 years after you get it built to stain it. So I did about 75% of that's done now. Um, I did some stuff around the yard, but this desk, shaking my head. This desk. Let me just show you this. This is all the stuff. This was empty. This is all the stuff I'm throwing away that was on this desk. And that's a shame. And I was standing there for about an hour going through things, reading things like, well, this has got to be important. I got to watch myself. I don't want to become a hoarder. I was like, well, if it's been buried for 8 to 10 months, how important can it be? Into the trash pile, 13 it went. So that's all that must weigh 14, 15 pounds right now. So anyway, who else is coming? Oh, and then Jessica Sanchez, medical doctor, but now she's like also a light worker. So she's fixing you from the rooter to the tutor. She'll be here Friday. Very animated. You're gonna love Jessica Sanchez. I guarantee you that. So Death Crawl on Thursday. Gonna find you your soulmate. Who wants a soulmate out there? Put something on the screen. Let me know so I can put a word in early. Jeff might be able to start looking now and bring your soulmate to the show on Thursday. You never know. And then of course for you people out there that know women over 50, or maybe you're a woman over 50 yourself, it's never too late to become that cover model. And you're going to find out how when Conchita comes on Wednesday, how you can end up in one of her wonderful, wonderful magazines or slash, what are those things? Calendars. So, and then again, tomorrow, I'm so excited to have Rob Johnson here, Emmy Award-winning news anchor. He's got a lot of stories, and I can't wait to probe and dig. Good morning to all of you. I see you, Cedric, Yolanda. Hey there, Karen Johnson, and all the rest of you. Dorian, Candy. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? So anyway, the Ozarks. I had no idea when I went. Just to recap today. It's just you and I. Lucy's still on vacation, so I have this fueled by positive energy mug today, which I don't know. I might get rid of Lucy. I'm kidding. She's over there in the corner. Uh, I had no idea that there was this hit show on, I think is it Netflix? Somebody might know, called Ozark. And when I was down there, everybody was saying, "Oh, have you seen the show? Have you seen the show?" How did I not know about the show? Before I came on this morning, I said, "Well, let me just pull up a little trailer and see what it's about." I knew it was starring Jason Bateman. They say he's fantastic in the role. But they didn't warn me of. I was doing this right here, getting ready to eat a banana, which I didn't get to. It's still sitting here because as soon as the trailer started, Jason Bateman is in the bedroom talking to a woman about. She goes, "Well, where's?" I'm just gonna make my name Caroline, and he goes, "Oh, she's in that. She's in a barrel of acid right next to so and so." I'm like, okay, that's too much, too soon in the morning. I'll wait on Ozark. I'm glad I didn't know about it because I would have been scared down there. Now, let me just be honest with you. I was a little worried because just the name Ozark. I went with my buddy Dave who's my roommate in the Air Force 35 years ago. We connected last year, went to some casinos. That was our outing last year. This year, because of social distancing and everything, we went down there. Now I came back early. Why? Because, well, first of all, I got some pictures to show you guys. I want to show you something because I know some of you are still planning on doing things this summer, going places and whatnot. It's a personal choice for each person. But, once you run out of the social distancing or the safe things to do, you're going to be faced with, do I really want to do this? Wait, let me pull it up. Okay, I'm going to show you. Where is it? I have it in here. This one. Do I want to really do this? Now, you see that? See that? That's just a part of it. All these little things and these little yellow, those are surfboards, apparently, miniature surfboards. And people were crowding around them. They didn't know each other. They were meeting each other, swimming up to it was just too much. It was too much. I was like, mm-mm. But I do have some pictures. Let me get rid of that one. Before we went to the Ozarks, we drove down there. I went to my friend Dave's 600-acre farm. 600-acre farm in LaPorte City, Iowa. Nothing but farm out there. Farm. But boy, I had a couple moments out there. Seriously, One of my, let me give you my highlights from the, we were there 2 days before we drove down to the Ozarks. The very first night, he put me on a golf cart and we rode out to the edge of the corn and soybean fields that just go like this, rolling hill after rolling hill after roll, as far as the eye can see, in all three directions, on front and on both sides. And then he killed the lights. It was around 11 o'clock at night. He killed the lights. And it was one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had in my life. Seriously, there must have been millions of fireflies just blinking as far as the eye could see in all directions. And it was absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like it, but hi, JL Maestro, how are you? Thanks for coming aboard. Share this out, you guys. I know it's just me, but I have some real talk today about a couple different things. So anyway, that was my first moment, right? And then during my first night, next to where I was sleeping, there was an incubator, right? Yeah, an incubator. It was a styrofoam thing, but it had all these gadgets and stuff on it. And inside of there were 6 eggs, 6 duck eggs. And they already had this little fellow. See how? Yeah, he had been born the day before. And so let me peek around the corner. So there were 6 more in this incubator right on a table right next to where I was sleeping. And during the night, I heard the next one inside the egg. The next little baby who was the chick that was gonna be born, which was the next day, was I could hear it talking inside of it. What do they do? Quacking? He wasn't really quacking because he was still inside the shell. Anyway, I heard him or her in there, and that was just. I got up and I was like, oh, I've never, honey. Did we go to the zoo in San Diego on our honeymoon? Okay, that was the first time I'd ever been to a zoo. So real life animals and stuff. Um, I mean cows and stuff I've seen, but I've never been up this close. And do you know this was another thing, and I meant to get it on tape and forgot. At nighttime, when their ducks are ready to go in, and the chickens too, they live in this little house, and all he does is he gets a flashlight and says, "Okay, into your house, and they line up. They literally line up, and hence the term, "Get your ducks in line." Yeah, they line up and go in there like it's just nobody's business. So cute, so cute. And I have some video I'm going to post on my page so that you guys can see it for yourself. These wonderful animals out there. So anyway, back to the Ozarks. The first night, some of you may have seen this on my page, because Ryan, my husband, has turned me and converted me. I used to camp and everything. Wouldn't have bothered me a bit back then. But now, um, my husband has converted me into a resort/hotel snob. I knew it. I was waiting because he's right around the corner. So I knew. What do you mean? It's true. Right. He'll walk in and do this, like rub his finger on stuff, and it'll do. Honey, well, that's true. So anyway, but we were at, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville Lake Resort, Lake of the Ozarks. So everything, of course, and here's another thing. Here's another thing. Jimmy Buffett, for real. I sat at the bar, uh, this one with my girl Hannah, who's my favorite bartendress. And can you see? Yeah, you see up at the top, there's all these videos. Do you know I watched 6 Jimmy Buffett music videos in a row? So he favors his own music. I'm just letting you know in case you go down there. Oh, who is that sashaying up the stairs? So yeah, I thought that was a little bit narcissistic. But anyway, if you're Jimmy Buffett and you own a place, why not? So anyway, that's Hannah. She was my favorite bartendress for the week. I kept telling her, if you see me even eyeing the pool, like I'm gonna go over there, reel me in, call security or something, because I don't want to lose my inhibitions and then end up losing my life from catching COVID from some stranger. So I never did. I hung my feet in once, but then I started thinking, get your feet out of there. And I did. So here's a couple highlights. So this thing, yeah, this thing in my room. The very next morning, this was the second day I woke. Well, the first day I woke up there, and I went in and took a shower and whatnot, and came out, and she was sitting there waiting. If I had, let me just put to you this way, seriously, I'm not afraid of them, but I'm not afraid of the ones here that I'm used to. You're in the Ozarks. What the hell, right? So I captured it because Nick Harris was already on my. I think I did a little live or something with it, but Nick Harris was already. So it's trying to get outside. Save him. Put him out, and I released him into the wild because ordinarily the old me would have sent him or her directly into the light. I would have, but I didn't. And I'm glad. I went to the balcony, put it out. But I don't know what kind of spider that was, but it was not, it didn't come with the room. So anyway, that was the first thing for the day. Um, Here's another thing. Oh, here's a little highlight. Okay, so here's something. Do you remember when we were kids? Okay. Remember when we were kids? Oh my God, it was so funny. I used to pitch a fit when I was a little kid. You know, when I say little, I mean little enough to ride in the shopping cart. Okay, not down in it like you see 8 or 9 year olds riding in there. What is that all about? But the little one, where your legs go through the little holes and your mom's facing you and pushing you, you know, and you're staring at all the other little kids. That's what I did. I stared them down. Right. So anyway, but remember these, right? I almost got on it, but this was in front of a Thai restaurant, and the woman was having lunch that owned it, and she's the cook, and she talked our ears off. She really did. I didn't even finish my food. I had to cross. I was going to get on that, but she was watching through the window, and I think she would have ran out there. You were too big. So anyway, I didn't get on it, but I wanted to. But do you remember these? Remember that and how I used to cry out in front of the grocery store begging your mom? I think they were a nickel, right? They're 25 cents now, but they still have them. So I thought that was cool. Um, Here's what I was reading. Excuse me. And I took 4 books that my husband bought me for my birthday, July 4th. And hi. And here's the thing. I didn't realize it, but a lot of people came up to me later and they were like, we want to meet you because we were wondering what kind of person comes here, sits on the outskirts of the pool, and reads a book and highlights it all day. And I was like, with a mask on. One who loves living. And they were like, ha 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 ha. But I was like, nothing. Back up. Because you were in that pool with nothing on your face. Right. And so anyway, that was that. Another highlight of the week for me. I just gotta show that again. That y'all shaking my head. I'm just saying, numbers are rising. It was all on the news. Now here's our view from our room. Is that beautiful? And there's more stuff. Wait, just like being in a mirror. I want to go that way. No, that way. That way there was like all kinds of stuff. It's just beautiful. So I had never even considered going down. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna just say this. I'm not. You all know it's just me. But I'm a man of color. I didn't know we went down there, but let me tell you something. There were a lot of people of color everywhere. Once you got to Margaritaville, now I'm gonna keep it real. In between, there were a lot of places when we stopped along the way. I was like, I even saw a truck with a Confederate flag flying on it. Um, okay, yes, I did pull my hat down a little bit further, and as you're out in the boonies, I'm just saying, ain't nobody trying to get strung up. And nowadays, there's some of everybody out there. So here's another thing I want to show you guys. Look at this dog patch. It's a real place. Dog patch. Remember Little Abner? I was in that musical in high school. I think it was my senior year. And dog patch. I had no idea. And then somebody, one of my followers, posted that, yeah, it's a real place. And not only is it a real place, but which of course, because I was there, great souvenirs there, by the way. They used to have an amusement park apparently that you could come to there, right? We never went there when I was a kid. So anyway, those are the pictures. Oh, and here's my Air Force buddy, Dave Schultz. who, after we left the military, we were both musicians in there, competing and going out on the road and whatnot. And Dave went on and recorded 6 albums and spent 30 years performing for the cruise lines. And now he's a farmer with 600 acres, and a lovely wife, Denise. And I want to thank them both for all their hospitality and everything that we did last week. That was our first drink after arriving. I had what was called a pink Cadillac. And I asked the girl too. I said, "Oh, you surprised me with something." She brings me that. And I said, "Well, what's that?" And she goes, "What's this called?" She goes, "A pink Cadillac." Girl, for real. It had to be pink. But anyway, it was delicious. I had about 30 more before the week was over. And Dave was drinking what was most likely the best pina colada I've ever had. And it was out of a machine. So there it is. So there's that. So anyway, Lake of the Ozarks. It was a lot of fun. A lot of hi Chris Tomlinson. How are you? Chris, loving what you were doing the other day on Facebook with a little wet look. I like it. Looking good. So anyway, nothing wrong with a good resort. Got that right, Yolanda Riley says. Cynthia Johnson, good morning. I'm just gonna pop. Mm, okay, Cynthia with the hat. All right. J.L. Maestro, Alicia, good morning to you. Karen Johnston, did I say that? Yeah, Karen. Oh, we have Cynthia Johnson and Karen Johnston. And Aaron Hyman, president of B360, Cedric Riley, good morning to you and the rest of you. My eyes are messing up from clicking around so much. So anyway, Cedric, where are you? I want to take that off. Okay, there we go. So anyway, I want to touch about this moment. And I had another moment when I was out there. When I went to sleep that night after I saw the twinkling ladybugs. Oh my God, we drinking? We did. We had some wine that Dave made. It was really delicious. It was peach wine, but I mean, just a little bitty mason jars, and it drank that. And I went to sleep, and I started dreaming about those ladybugs and the vastness of that field. And I am not kidding you. I woke up crying because I had such a moment. I woke up. This is how it went down. I dreamed that I was watching those ladybugs across those fields again, 600 acres. Imagine it if you can. And all of a sudden, I was like, you know how when they show someone that's free falling from a plane, what do you call that? What's that called when you jump out of a plane? Sometimes you're with an instructor. I think it's called free falling. And they're like this. Well, I was like that, but I was coming down towards the cornfields and the soybean fields where I'd seen the ladybugs blinking everywhere. And then I just was suspended there. And it was such the feeling was this was more than a dream. I'm telling you. I woke up, I called Brian. I told him, honey, I had a moment. I told my host, Denise and Dave, I said, and they're looking at me like I was stone crazy for real. This is my second day there. I said, I had a moment. I mean, I woke up crying. The dog was sitting across looking at me when my eyes opened. And I said, come here. And he came over and just put his chin up on the side of the bed. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. I had a moment. I even told the dog. So anyway, while I'm floating there, I'm looking down and I'm like, this doesn't even look or feel real. It's so beautiful. And I heard the voice. I'm not kidding y'all. This really happened. I'll never forget it. Ever. I don't want to ever forget it. I really hope that it's one of those things, they say when you're transitioning from this world, your life passes before your eyes. And I believe that is a string of fond memories. That's at least what I hope for. I believe this will be one of the things that I see. Right. So anyway, I was just suspended there. I heard the voice say to me, Loren, this is what you're experiencing is a connection with the oneness. I wrote it down. The oneness. Seriously. And, sometimes we refer to each other and what we do here together as the collective. But when we take the collective and we meld it, like, excuse me, like, if you took magnets and you stuck them together with your higher power, which you believe to be greater than you. So we have the collective and we have the higher power and they go together. That's what I felt was the oneness. I've always felt that connection with my higher power. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. This was the first time I felt it with all of you, myself, and my higher power all at once. And he told me, he, she, they, higher power, whatever pronoun you want to use, um, told me right then and there, this was the beginning of my vacation, and that you will go home a new person. Take this with you. Take this to them. And I'm going to learn more, I'm sure, about the oneness. So if any of you have ever experienced something like that, I would truly be interested in hearing about it. I'm not embarrassed to talk about it. I know it happened. I know it was real. I can still see it and feel it. It's like inside my pores. And boy, whew, I am not kidding you. I get chills thinking about it still. It was just the most beautiful thing. And let me ask you, have you ever had an experience with God? I know I've had them where I'll be talking to someone, I'll be relating a story or experience, and my voice will drop to a whisper. And I always tell people when you hear me begin whispering, it's because I'm in the presence of something so wonderful just from telling a story. Or sometimes, have you ever had this one where you are experiencing something and you are so connected with God, it's so reverent that you feel like you almost need to lay prostrate, flat on the ground, flat on the floor, with your face down, out of respect. Okay, so if you've ever experienced one of those experiences, um, take it and multiply it times a million, and that experience with this thing deemed the oneness that I experienced in uh, you might just be getting close. It was really, really something. And so it's got me thinking about it. So I'm looking around and considering ways, and I would love your help. I would love your input on what do you feel this means? The oneness. Anybody? Anybody got anything? I know Chris Tomlinson. Here we go. Chris says, I have moments, intense moments with God on the deck outside. He sits next to me and talks about different things, takes me places. I know this sounds strange, but the things he shows me, I know he's got. Chris, I absolutely get it. I absolutely get it. Anybody else? Since we're talking about it, Chris, thank you for sharing that. Um, and Chris, if you guys don't know about Chris Tomlinson, what a wonderful story. This guy, man. Mm. D Ball, good morning to you. Miss your face. I hope you can make it visit in a couple weeks. So anyway, yeah, yeah, I mean, let's talk about that if we could. You know, we're at the halfway point. I want you to put on your thinking caps right now, all of you, and just type in what you're comfortable talking about. But I would love for someone to do what Chris just did. Share that moment you've had that was like an out of body experience or a metaphysical experience or a spiritual awakening. What did it feel like to you? I just, for those of you that have just come aboard, I was sharing with everyone here today how I had a moment um, uh, when I saw 600 acres of corn and what were those things? Soybeans in pitch of night, pitch of darkness, with nothing but millions and millions of fireflies blinking everywhere. And it was one of the um, most humbling experiences as far as putting me into perspective, as far as my position in God's vastness and greatness. It just, I can't even, there aren't words. Not, there are, and I know for sure now there are words that have not been invented because I can't come up with any to really, really express. So there you go. And Chris just shared. I want to read that again. Chris shared that he said, I have moments, intense moments with God on the deck outside. He sits next to me and talks about different things, and he takes me places. I know this sounds strange, but the things he shows me, I know it's God. And I get it. I really do. So listen, what we're going to do here is I want you guys really, let's just talk about it. We're kicking it. It's my first day back. I never really do this too often anyway, just where it's just you and I. But I wanted to today. I wanted to catch up and let you guys know just how very much I missed you and how, oh, I really did. For 'cause this is my fourth season. And so in 4 years, this was the very first time that I was not in front of you guys every day, Monday through Friday. This was the first time. Thank you, E360 and Aaron Hymes for playing the reruns. Mm. So when we come back from break, I'm hoping that a couple of you will have shared with us um, your moment. Have you ever had one of those moments? And if so, how did it make you feel? What do you think it means? And just try to share it with us if you can. Just whatever you feel comfortable sharing. We would love to hear that. So we're going to go to a break. A word from our sponsors when we come back. Let's see what we come up with. Going fishing this time, not in the Ozarks, right here with you for stories of experiences.
Baby, where are you going? Why don't you stay by me now? Wait a moment while I clean my hands, yeah. Baby, where are you going? Why don't you stay by me now? Wait a moment while I clean my hands, yeah. Baby, where are you going? Why don't you stand by me now? Wait a moment while I clean my hands. I've been moving all around the world, looking for something that's behind your door. You were lying on your bedroom floor. I was on my way. I'm coming home. 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 I'm coming home.
Feeling. I really thought it was going to be two people, and I did meet someone else, and I do have to meet with another girl that came through this person, so that still could be the second one. But the first one I know for a fact. Well, wait till you hear what happened. But Chris, what are you saying here? Let's see. Oh, Chris is sharing with us. Chris Thomason, another one of his experiences with higher power. He said one moment I had was he, meaning God, showed me places in space, and then showed me the universe inside us ourselves and such. It's mind blowing. I've heard other people say that too, Chris, that they've had that same thing. He says it sounds so surreal, but it's one of those things you have to experience to understand. I get it. And then he goes, on the deck, we listen to music, me and him. I can't tell you what he looks like because it's more like a presence. And it's different for everybody than in appearance. Like the feeling you get from an intense hug or knowing you're with a loved one, even if they're in another room. We watch animals in the field. He causes birds to fly by and watch butterflies and wonder. We laugh at the cows as they roll on the ground, and we watch in awe as the clouds dance in the sky. Chris, I can tell just from the way you say that it humbled me. Got some chills somewhere up in here. I really did. And my man, Chris, thank you. Thank you for being bold enough, if you will, to share that. A lot of people are afraid to share those intricate, intense, private moments with God or whatever you deem to be greater than you. Um, I think we need to share those conversations a little bit more often, if you ask me. Now, I have something here from Korea. Oh, what a beautiful name. Sansoria. Sansaria, I'm guessing, Maxwell. Phonetically put it on the screen for me, will you? It sounds beautiful. I want to get it right. Says, hi, I'm kind of new here. Oh, well, welcome. You're only new once. Just remember that. But I had a moment almost 22 years ago. Now, if you remember this moment, 22, I can't remember big old things from last week, but a moment from 22 years ago, now that's a moment. I was living dangerously and walking down a street. A bright, humongous angel appeared in front of me. stopped me, and I attempted to go around it, but it blinded me. I turned around. So has my life since for the better. Wow. See, she says it was humongous. Angel wings, very beautiful. I believe you. I believe you. I know, and I know again. See, and that's the thing. See, you notice how everybody's like, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds weird. Words that deceive. No, it doesn't. The reason it sounds that it may sound a little strange because we don't hear it every day. We're not. A lot of us aren't open to sharing this sort of thing with each other, but we need to do more of it. So let me tell you. Okay, now listen. Sankri Sang. Okay, wait a minute. She put her name up. I want you, man. Song Siriria. Oh, it's Cherokee. Okay, you have to call me because I need to hear it. I just need to hear it once. But I love it. And welcome. Don't you dare go away. You stay with us. We want you here. There's something about you. I can tell. Now listen. So, okay, we get down there, right? We're in the resort. My friend Dave is just like me. Every place we go, we talk to everybody we run into. Everybody. That's why nobody will go to the grocery store with me. Because it takes me like 2 hours because I got to talk to everybody, all back in the meat department, everywhere. So anyway, my I thought I was bad at it. My friend Dave, you know what? Look, there's only one thing I can say. Wait. Girl, I'm not kidding. You think I'm bad? Mm-mm. You ain't seen nothing. So anyway, Dave is talking to one of the security guys. We just get down there, pool, first day. He's talking to Donnie, old retiree security guard. And then, no, what was his name? That wasn't his name. Anyway, Dave was talking to him. I go over, I meet Hannah that you saw in the picture. Well, before we get down there, while we were, no, we went down there because we were waiting for our suite to get ready. And then we went down there, we had a drink, we had some hot wings, then we went back up to the lobby. The room still wasn't ready. So while we were there, Dave went out to make a call to his wife. I'm sitting there, and a female security guard comes by. And I said, "Hey, you, come here." And she comes over. And she has dark hair, she's cute as can be, older woman, glasses, big old Foster Grants. And I said, you think you can fool me? You may have dyed your hair and you're wearing those big old Foster Grants, but I'd know you anywhere, Angie Dickinson, police woman. So I'm just joking with her. And she's like, ah. And she goes on about her business. We go back down. Now we get in our room. We go back down there later in the afternoon. I'm reading on the side of the pool. Dave's off doing whatever he's doing, talking to somebody, no doubt. And I come up to Dave. He's talking to another security guard. And the other security guard is sitting there. And then, no, this is the evening time, dinner time. And then Dave says to the waiter, Nick, our waiter, Nick, I want 2 shots of tequila. No, I went off because Dave already knew. The last time we were together in the Air Force 35 years ago, we all went to the Grand Canyon. And it was his idea then, too, to take some that whole thing with salt and lemon and all that and tequila. I had never done it. I'm a wine guy, right? And so I tried it. I tried it. Let's just put it this way. The next day, I had 30, 40 people come up to me. Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for last night. I'm like, why is that? Me for what? Well, apparently, after drinking some of those, I danced through the bonfire and then went around asking campsites, would you like me to go and gather you some firewood? So I was climbing up trees and breaking off things, and everybody had firewood for the whole weekend. That was tequila and me. Haven't had it since. So Dave says to the waiter, Nick, we'll take 2 shots of tequila. I was like, oh, no, we won't. So I started telling that story about the Grand Canyon. Well, the security guard goes, he pulls up a picture on his phone. And he goes, we go to a canyon near there every year. And he goes, but we go for this. And he scrolls and he shows me the picture of a grave. And I was like, well, what's that all about? He goes, that was our 25-year-old son who 5 years ago went up in a private plane with another. He was a pilot, but he went up in a plane with another guy. The guy tried to do a trick, and it didn't go well, and they both died. So he's buried there. What was allowed? All we had was his tattoo That's all that he had, a hope tattoo, they said. And that's how they identified his body, from the hope tattoo. Okay, that's how bad it was. So, and I heard that same voice that told me the oneness, immediately ask about his wife. So I said, well, how's your wife doing? And because Brian and I, we have a family member who lost a child the same time 5 years ago, and I know how hard it is for her. Her only child. This was their only child. So anyway, he goes, she's not good. I was like, what? He goes, yep, she's lost the majority of who she is. She has a hard time even getting out of bed. She still comes to work. He goes, as a matter of fact, she works here. And I was like, oh. And he goes, yeah, my wife, Charla, I don't think she'll ever be the same, but she is working on, they found out, and he left, apparently their son left two little babies, two little girls, and there was no insurance because the guy who took him up in the plane, you don't have to have, apparently it's in 39 states, it is legal to take people up in a plane and not have any insurance. And I think that's totally wrong. And so do a lot of people. So anyway, he says, I said, oh, well, I have a friend on Capitol Hill speaking. She was on the show not long ago, Maureen Flatley, who's passed 20 some bills in 20 some years. And I said, well, if you're trying to get a bill passed, and they said, yeah, it's called Chad's Law, where it would force every state to put into place regulations that would make it mandatory for a pilot that takes people up in a private plane to have insurance. And it makes perfect sense to me. Chad's Law. So I was like, well, I need to connect you with Maureen. She can maybe help you. Because he said that the wife, Charla, is not getting anywhere. She can't get to the people here in the state are blowing her off. They don't answer her calls, blah, blah, blah. So, and he goes, and this is the only thing that's really keeping her going, despite to get this bill passed. So anyway, he says, well, let me call her and put her on the phone with you, and you can tell her about your friend. I said, okay. So he puts her on the phone with me. So Dave is over here talking, both of the security guards, the one from earlier and Don, are both now here talking to Dave. So the one who I have his phone, I'm talking to his wife, the phone is ringing, I'm going to talk to his wife. He's right beside me. Dave and the other one are over there. So I'm in between. They can both hear me, right? So I get her on the phone and she goes, hi. And I said, and he hands me the phone. He goes, honey, I have a guy here who has a friend who might be able to help you, blah, blah. She goes, okay, let's put me on the phone with her. So then I'm talking to her and she goes, yeah, I'm a female security guard. The only one where I work. She doesn't know. He already told me she works right here. She goes, yeah, I'm the only female there where I work. And I was like, in my mind, I saw it. I said, I just met a female security guard somewhere. Where was that? It was like earlier that day. And I was like, wait a minute. I said, do you have dark hair? She goes, yeah. I said, do you wear glasses? She said, yeah. I said, is this Angie Dickinson? And she goes, and when I said that, Dave looked, and so did Don, because she had gone to lunch with him and told him about how a guy pulled her over and said, you look like Angie Dickinson. And I had told Dave, that's what I did to the security guard upstairs. I called her Angie Dickinson or whatever. So now we're all going, what? Long story short, maybe not so short. I got her on the phone. I met her in the lobby the next day. I took my laptop down, showed her who Maureen Flatley was on Capitol Hill. Maureen Flatley wasn't available right then, so she and I talked. She brought pictures of her son, and it was a really touching moment. She said that she had to be careful because there were cameras everywhere, and she was at work, and she didn't want to lose it. She did. It was just a beautiful moment, and she just kept thanking me profusely, even if nothing comes from this. Because just the opportunity that something might happen. And then I get back up to my suite, and now Maureen is free. And Charla had given me the government regulations that are everything that's happening with this thing. And I went through it all with Maureen, and she went in and she looked and she goes, oh my God. She goes, the committee that's trying to get this, I know people on this committee on Capitol Hill. Oh, I know the chairman. Oh my goodness. And she goes, ooh, this is a good one. And all these things. So anyway, long story short, like I said, Maureen and Charla now are connected, and Maureen is committed to seeing this thing all the way through to help this woman get this bill passed. And I just want to say, I could have come home right then after that. I felt between that experience floating above and hearing the voice say, "This is what it feels like to be a part of the oneness." Then knowing that when I get down there, there's someone I'm supposed to meet, and the whole Angie Dickinson thing. I just want to say to you, you know, you see things behind. We all have those things like behind me on the wall. Magazine and the Power We Symposium, and there's all that stuff back there, right? All that stuff. And look back there. There's all kinds of stuff. There's awards and this and the other. And I tell people all the time, and I keep this right here for that purpose. This my pointer used to be a selfie stick. It's now my pointer. Keep that back there because I tell you what, moments like last week with Charla, when you can literally see the finger of God or whatever you believe to be greater than yourself, writing something upon your heart, upon your spirit. It is those moments like when I looked, the lights were killed on the golf cart, and you see 600 acres of nothing but blinking fireflies. It's those moments that remind me that these things back on the wall, you know why they're there? You know why we have those reminders, everybody? We have those reminders so that we can remember that there's open space. What's going to go here? What's going to go up there? What are we going to do today that will be something that we can be proud of tomorrow? What story are you writing today that will touch someone's heart tomorrow? That's what I love about Chris Tomlinson, who is on here today. Burned over 90% of his body, I believe. He was a little toddler. And when I first I started doing my research on Chris before I brought him on the show, I was so humbled. I felt like chastising myself for not being better at what I was looking at. And what I'm speaking of is every single picture of him as a little toddler wrapped up in the hospital bed in gauze. And no matter what age you found a picture of Chris, he was doing this, just smiling from his heart. And when he says what he says on there today, like he did this morning about God meeting him on the deck, I believe it because I saw it in him before I ever picked up the phone and called him about being on the show. And right now we find ourselves living in what could be considered a very tough time. But I believe that we're living in one of the greatest times. This is one of the best times to be alive. Pandemic, all that's going on with the social unrest and whatnot. This is a wonderful time to be alive, um, because this is a wonderful time to share your story. This is a wonderful time to write your story. This is a wonderful time to sit down and let someone share their story with you. You noticed I have a promo that I keep playing. It was I put it together when we were doing the generational healing series, the men and the women, and it's about having that conversation. E360 sponsors, it distributes the conversation. This shows of many other people that have messages to share with the world. This is the time. I want to encourage all of you. I don't care what you do. If you're a writer, write the story. If you're a singer, sing the story. If you're a poet, speak the story. If you're just a person who loves people, love the story. This is an opportunity to change lives and not even know it. Oh, I almost forgot. Oh, listen to this. Okay. The next day, Charla, the woman who is now working with Maureen about getting Chad's Law, Angie Dickinson, calls me. I saw I had a missed call from her. So I called her back. And she goes, Lauren, I just wanted to share something with you. I know you're leaving in a couple of days and I'm off. And I wanted to share this with you. But last night, because you and Maureen, we call her Mo, um, had been so kind to me, she goes, I did something I haven't done in 5 years since we lost. She goes, she told me in the lobby that day, she goes, I have been so angry with God for what he did, for taking my son, for leaving my grandbabies with no father, with no money, all these things. And she said, I'm just so angry. I can't get past the anger. And she said, but last night I was driving and I saw a young man walking and it was hot. It was really hot, 90 something. And she said, I don't do this. But as soon as I passed, I heard a voice say, turn around and pick him up. And I'm in the car by myself. She goes, and that's not like me. And she said, until then, for the last 5 years, I haven't wanted to do anything for anybody. Screw them. That's what she said. Exactly what she said. I was like, screw them. I'm not helping anybody. I'm not paying it forward. I don't care. She goes, but I turned around. I picked him up. And she said, well, he get in and I asked him, well, where are you going? And he goes, well, as far as you can take me. He was actually going about an hour and a half's drive from where they were. Drive. He's walking. So she said, something told her again, take him all the way. So she said she called Don, her husband, the security guard, and doubled back and picked him up at home. Together, they drove this young man to his mother's house an hour and a half away. As they started to drive down the road, the three of them, he pulled out a newspaper clipping and handed it to them in the front seat. He said to them, 5 years ago, now remember, 5 years ago, their son died. He goes, 5 years ago, my wife killed our 6-month-old baby boy. She's in prison for the rest of her life, but I just can't get past it. He goes, I'm going to see my mother, but I didn't think I'd get there. He goes, actually, right before you stopped and turned around and picked me up, I was planning to step in front of the very next car and take my life. I promise you this is what Charlotte told me. And I'm going to get her on here. So you'll be able to hear the story from her probably next week. I'm going to try to set it up if she can get on next week. And she said, Lauren, not only have I never picked up a stranger, in the last 5 years, I haven't wanted to do one thing for one other person, just my family. And I picked up this young man. She goes, I just wanted to connect with you and let you know what you did in my life helped me to immediately do it inside someone else's life. And together we just may have saved a young man's life. And so I want to just, share that with you guys because, sometimes we don't think it matters. Many times we don't think that anyone is paying attention. We don't think that all the things that we are trying to do to be of service to others is acknowledged or making a difference. But I want you to understand there will be a day when what is greater than you will take you by the hand, or just like what Chris was saying, maybe out on the deck. And we'll go like this or do something to show you orchards, vineyards, gardens, all these different places where fruit that you have planted are flourishing. Every one of those things that you will be able to see at that time will be an act that you were responsible for. Most cases, I think, not even realizing what you were doing. If I were to say what I think it's going to sound like, it would probably be a little bit like, over here, look at what you've done. But all I did was, well, I was only, but it was the right thing to, you mean just by, yeah. So I want you all to understand, a lot of us feel like we need to see things like this stuff. We need to have a memorial bench, with our name on it one day for having done something, or a library or a museum erected in our honor. And those things, yeah, of course, those are nice legacy pieces. But each and every one of us has the opportunity to write our names in the book of life, to write our names across the book of legends that exist in this universe simply by doing things like saying good morning, calling someone up and saying, "Are you okay?" Telling someone that you pass, "Have a nice day," smiling with your eyes from behind the mask, pausing and letting someone go before you turn that corner, giving someone that parking space that you've been driving around and around waiting for. I'll never forget the time I met a woman named Dodie, who had been a Manhattan socialite. She told me the story. This is when I first started this career. And she told me the story of the bicycle messenger who saved her life. She said that she was on her way into her building to go up to her penthouse apartment. She had shopping bag in her arm, and in there she had a couple gallons of vodka. She had everything she needed to go up there and take her own life. She just kept dropping her purse, or it was sliding off her arm, and it just looked like a mess. She couldn't get in. The doorman was missing, so she was having to open the door for herself. And a bicycle messenger flew past her because he was late to making the delivery. They later found out he was making it had a deadline to get some um, blueprints from an architect to another place in Upper Manhattan. But he said he told her later that something stopped him in his tracks and said, "Go back and help that woman." And he went back and he helped her. He opened the door for her, told her to have a nice day, picked up what she had dropped. And she said later that it didn't hit her until she was in the elevator alone that she started crying because